Hi, my name's Tony Scelzo. Welcome to Buzz. I've got David Schoenenberger here again, and we're going to talk a little bit about vision and how having a compelling vision and why for your business and for your life is important. Now, you and I have had this conversation many a times, and I know you've got a pretty compelling vision on what you want to accomplish. Tell us what you're going to do with your insurance agency.
Well, it's interwoven with a personal one as well, but the agency, I would like to have two offices, one in Carmel and then one in Fishers also, and holding three employees apiece.
Okay.
And actually use part of it to have interns, something either coming from the high school or Ball State University where they have an insurance program, and kind of give back in that way. They can have office space, get a flavor for what actually happens in an insurance agency, what it takes to run it.
See if this is something they want to they might want to turn into a career. Okay. Now, how did you get to that point where you figured that out?
It's always been part of the program. Day one, when I started my own business, now you've always got to plan and see bigger than you, and wherever you are. And the whole keeping on track. If the vision's out there, you will stay more on track than all over the place. So part of it was giving back to just the industry itself, and help the local schools out, my alma mater, Ball State. And then with the community, my church specifically, we do mission work down in Nicaragua. My goal is to be able to write a check to cover plane flight for 6 to 8 people, all the supplies we need to do, and literally be able to write a personal check and do that.
That's your contribution, your gratitude goal, if you will.
Yes. Yep.
I think it's so important, and I've had this conversation with a lot of entrepreneurs. They'll start to get to that level where they start to see success happen, and they don't know why. They're going to ask themselves for more, or the people that they work with for more, or their customers for more, or their organization for more. You've got to really understand where you're going and why you're doing it.
You do, because personally, in a business, you can always get comfortable at some level, whatever that point is for you personally. And if you don't have something larger than that, you will get comfortable, you will stop growing the business, and once you stop growing the business, it starts dying. That is my belief.
Well, I tell you, about a year and a half ago, we got in Rainmakers, we got to the point where, this association finally got to the point where I could afford, to pay myself, which is always a good thing. If you're starting your own business, it's good to take a paycheck. We could sustain our staff, and I didn't need to hold any other clients. And I really had to start thinking about, I got a lot of people talk to me about taking this thing nationwide and what we were going to do and how that thing would happen. And I had to get really clear on our vision, and I'd like to share it with you real quick, and anybody who's watching here. We want to be a national association, and we've got 3 phases of our model. The first phase is the association. The second phase we're ramping up this fall, which is the university. I'd like to educate over 500. I'd like to put 500 Rainmakers in some kind of content class that Rainmaker University provides. The third phase is what I see is called the Rainmaker Business Development Center, which is 30,000 square foot facility that has an event space that our members can come in and do our own main event in our own facility, classrooms that our members can teach their classes and market their wares to the other members and non-members, a cafe where we can all come together. Lord knows we spend a lot of time at Starbucks and doing lunches and stuff like that, and then offices where they can house their businesses and almost be an incubator. If we had what if your office was next to 300 other Rainmakers? You think you'd get a few more referrals, that kind of thing. And use that model to take nationwide. And the reason that I want to do that is because I see in our future, and I think it's probably around 50,000 members, that we start a foundation called the Rainmaker Foundation. And my mission with that is that we go into some disadvantaged markets and we create a scholarship program that is part scholarship, part funding of a business, where we do microloans to candidates for disadvantaged youth to start their own businesses in a disadvantaged market. So let's say you go down to like 38th Street in pretty much wherever, right? And you find somebody that wants to start a business, and you do a microloan to them of $100,000. 20 grand of that is coaching that our members provide. We hire some members right in there, and then you start 10 businesses at a time. Well, not all of them are gonna make it, but let's say you get 4 or 5 businesses that make it. They can provide service back to the members, so we're creating a big circle there. They're gonna buy products and services from the members, so we're continuing to reinvest. But part of their contract is they have to tithe, or they have to give back 10% of their profits back to the foundation, so it lives on forever. And I believe that one of the reasons you don't see people in disadvantaged markets start their own businesses is there's nobody there they can model. They can't, if the only thing you can see is dealing drugs or being a pastor or playing basketball to get to the next level, then that's what you emulate, and that there's nothing you can model. And people really don't understand how powerful that is. One of the things that Rainmakers does for each other is we could see other business owners that are just maybe 1 or 2 ticks above us, and we can model that behavior, and we can see that it's that close to us, and therefore we can elevate and go to that next level. Is that fair?
It's amazing that you have a vision like that, because that is very true. And microloan at $100,000 seems a little small, micro, but $100,000 is a lot of money. But in order to really pay what they need $100,000, and coaching has to be part of it.
Yeah.
Accounting.
How far ahead would you be if you had $100,000 when you started your business?
I'd probably be opening my second office right now.
See, and for the typical Rainmaker type business, that kind of impact would, to me, make a great deal. I've seen, there's a book out called Influencer, and there's a group in third world countries using this microloan kind of format, and they're changing entire third world economies with this idea. And for them it's like $500, but for us, I think we could apply the same strategy right here. And really, how many good businesses do you need? How many next Fortune 500 companies do you need to win for something like this to take off?
It's the one big scoreboard where you get a Microsoft who can fund anything they want to at any time.
And it's amazing. It just becomes math at that point, right? But the idea is that you got to have a vision that's compelling enough, that a why that's big enough that you can get a lot of people behind in order to get your dream to that level. And part of that is you have to work. You have to win the battle in between your ears. And I think that's what
that's a huge battle.
A lot of members, learn that as they get on. It's like, I need to sell more things, and I need to be able to afford to market things, but the real battle's in between the ears. You've been on the buzz. Vision and a why, right? That's why we're here.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Tony.
you.